Hi, everyone. This is Beth Pensabene from Beachway Therapy Center. I have Kelly from North Carolina sharing her story with us today. Kelly, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us. Your story is truly inspiring and something a little different here that we haven't really talked about on our lives. So I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having me.
So, a little bit about Kelly. She was at Beachway in February of 2020. She was literally one of the last clients right before the world shut down. And she stayed sober all through COVID and has been sober now 3 years. Congratulations, right?
Thank
3 years,
you.
3 years and
Thank
how
you.
many days?
Oh my goodness, maybe about 10.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah,
We'll take it.
right.
So, and you've had three of your children recently get married, correct?
Yes, they
And
got
you
married. Yes, the first one was March of 21.
well, that was amazing that they were able to fit 3 in the last
I
3 years with
know,
everything going
I
on.
know. Yes, and my daughter gets married in about 5 weeks, so she'll be the
Oh,
last one.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I think that your story will be very inspiring because here you are participating in your 3 children's weddings, but life was a lot different from 2015 to 2020, correct?
It was very different. Yes.
And your
Yes.
story is a little different because you weren't necessarily people didn't really even know what was going on.
No.
Um, you were very good at hiding it, and it was really something that what didn't come from, any type of mental health issue per se. It just came from almost, a addiction situation.
Right, right,
So can you
right.
can you share that a little bit with the group and explain what I mean by all of that?
Yes, definitely. So I drank all through high school and college, and as I was sharing with you earlier, it was never enough. I mean, I could cut myself off, but I recognized that craving for more even at a young age, and never really got into trouble with alcohol. I never did drugs. But from the time I was probably around 50, I'm almost 57 now. I My kids all left for college. They were out of the house. I had this void of time, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I think I had kind of an identity crisis of what am I good at? I had a college degree, I'm a nurse, but I wasn't working. And I think I felt so inferior. And a good way to take off that edge was to drink. And my husband was like, we should drink red wine. It's good for our health. And
Mm.
so we started having a glass of red wine every night. And it became two. And then I started drinking a glass or two before he got home. And then I was hiding the bottle. I was replacing the bottle. And it just progressed from there, really from about the age 50 up until I was 54. So, and I really remember when I crossed that line of it wasn't that I needed it. I had to have it to
Mhm.
function
Mhm.
and to be a mom, do all the volunteer things I was doing and all of that. And so it was just a very insidious,
Mhm.
slippery slope that I ignored. I made excuses for, but I drank alone. My best friends are all normal drinkers. They can handle it. And I just took it a step further and, pre-gamed before everything.
Mhm.
And it just became this insatiable craving. I had to have it every day. And then it went to drinking in the day and then all day.
Well, we appreciate you sharing that because there's people out there listening right now who are struggling with that. They're hiding it. And you and I chatted that your closet was your bar. I mean,
Our
it's
closet
funny,
was my
funny, but it's not
armoire.
funny, right? Like you would go in and you had everything there, but it was hidden from everybody else,
Oh,
correct?
right. And I got more clever. I mean, a good addict is a good liar. And so I had all the tricks going on. I
Mhm.
had it down pat how I could take it with me, hide it, be ready for the next day. I had every trick down.
And during that time, what were you feeling like? Were you feeling with a lot of guilt?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just constantly tried to numb myself to any emotion. I didn't want to feel anything. I was so ashamed. I was doing all the things, we know, isolating.
Mhm.
Literally everything except drinking was just an inconvenience to me. I had no, I didn't care about the people and the things that meant the most to me. It
Mhm.
was almost like that inner circle of the people and the things that mean the most to you. Alcohol came in and completely pushed everything that was in that inner circle out.
Mhm.
It was the
Mhm.
only thing in my world.
And that is unfortunately quite typical. What happens? And like you said, like a slippery slope. I always say it's like a runaway train. It's like
Right.
something that you cannot stop on your own. Always need to have help. When
Right.
was the point when you've been married for 33 years?
33 years. Yes.
That's amazing. Um, what was the rock bottom for you?
I think the rock bottom for me was when my husband came to me, my wonderful, faithful husband who was not going to leave me. And he told me that. He said, I am not going to leave you, but if you continue to drink, we will have a very bitter marriage and I will be bitter towards you. And it just cut like a knife. And I was having health, serious health concerns. My blood pressure was sky high, my cholesterol was sky high. I don't want to go into too much graphic detail, but I was messed up all my whole body.
Mhm.
And so it was at that point that I just cried out to God that I wanted to live. I had too much to live for. And I realized I matter, I'm worthy, and God doesn't want me to live this way. No one wants to. And so I just went to the computer and started Googling rehab because I realized I was just one of those that had to go away.
Mhm.
AA wasn't working. Nothing was working, but I had to be removed from my environment. And I
Mhm.
recognized that about myself. And so my family was in complete support of me going away to Beachway.
And when you got there, you've been married for 33 years. So I'm assuming typically when you go away, you're with your husband, you're with your kids, you're with
Mhm.
other people. So you go to Beachway, you don't know anybody there.
No.
What was the
You
experience like when you got there?
you know what? In some ways, it was a relief because I felt like I'd found my people
Mhm.
and I could be open and honest, and it alleviated some of the shame. There was instant camaraderie with everybody there, and you know, we all were struggling with somewhat of the same things,
Mhm.
and so it was almost a little bit of relief that I had surrendered myself to this program, and and so there was a certain degree of just this relief that flooded my body when I got there. I felt like I could just rest and
Mhm.
that I didn't have to keep trying. And the hiding and the lying had just exhausted me.
Mhm.
And I completely submitted myself to Beachway in every way. I could not have control anymore. So yeah, it was actually a huge relief for me.
Was that the first time that you had been in type of like a therapy situation besides AA?
Yes, that was the first time.
Yeah. So how was it? Because we do individual therapy and group therapy. Was there anything you kind of remember that really stuck out as being helpful?
In the therapy,
Yeah.
oh gosh, so much of it. Um, I would say that initially with my therapist, what I realized that I had not before was that I had a lot more in my life that I needed to dig out, that the alcohol was just I had stuffed so much over the years of just feelings of inadequacy and just lies I had told myself. And I realized I had to pull that root out. I had to get to the root of all of that. I kind of think about my heart just having this overgrown with just these weeds that were just thriving and choking me. And those weeds had to just come out to leave fertile soil for healing, for truth to be implanted in me of coping mechanisms. And so I guess I remember early on in the therapy going, okay, I got to go there and it's not going to be fun, but I have to go back and go back and retrace my childhood and go back and reminisce and be as a child again and get my head back in there. And once I started doing it, um, it just flowed from there. So it really was that therapy that took me to a place that I was, because I'd submitted to the program and I wanted to do it. It took me back there and I was able to do that and really uncover a lot of things about myself, my personality,
Mhm.
about what contributed to my drinking.
Yeah, it's almost getting to the root of it, right? And finding
Right,
out what is actually powering that urge. And also just taking the urge away, being away for 30 days can do that,
right,
help you do that.
right.
So, what's it been like since you've been home?
Oh
And
my gosh,
you're
it's been amazing. When I got home the towards the end of the first week of March 2020,
Mhm.
and literally that week everything shut down. And I kind of think of it that also as a gift. It's all in my, I think it's all in our perspective. But
Mhm.
I felt like I did not. I had a really slow re-entry back into life here, and it was just very gentle. It was a very gentle time for me to continue healing, and so you know, when you're in recovery, every day there's something new that you were like, oh, I forgot I love birds. Oh, I forgot I love to fish. Just all of these things. I love to cook, and food tastes so good to me now.
Wow.
And so it's like rediscovering all these things that I had thrived on. And it was like a kid going to Disney World. It's like, this is so great. You know, oh, the sun's out. Look at that sunset. So, it was just really a great time. And it was not all easy. I mean, there were definitely times where I felt some anxiety about, what have I just been through? Is this really me? What happened to me? Kind of going back and doing that.
Mhm.
Um, and I was introduced to, when I was there in 2020, there was a Thursday morning Bible study called Life Recovery.
Mhm.
And I've grown up in the church and my faith has always been very important to me. I was very distant from God at the time. I felt so unworthy. I could barely pray, much less look at myself in the mirror. And I went to that study and was introduced to a different perspective of the 12 steps, kind of using the Bible. And it just was incredible. It was incredible for me that I could go back and feel that connection with God again
Mhm.
and realize I was forgiven and how I was loved and I was worthy and I mattered. And so I took that. And one of the things that I really felt a passion for when I came home was to find that study online and research it. And I actually ended up starting a life recovery Bible study at my church for women and addiction. And that was just as much healing for me as I
Yeah.
hope it was for some of the other women. So that was just a huge thing for me.
You've definitely been paying it forward,
Yeah.
which is a big part of staying sober, is being accountable and helping other people. So that's been a huge help to you and other people as well, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Well, we love your smile, Kelly. We
Thank
appreciate you
you.
taking the time. Thank you so much. Please
You're
give us a
welcome.
lot of likes and hearts and everything for Kelly. And if you have any questions for her, you can share them and I'll make sure she sees them.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.